He's got his whole head up his ass. He's got his whole fat head up his ass. He has his whole non-functional head up his ass. He's got his whole head up his ass. And who am I talking about? Well, of course, Geerup. Geerup. This is a response, of course, to your video, Fossil Fiasco, still looking for the missing link. Might I suggest you start with the mirror? Anyway, first point, as you're looking at these fossils, is that you know, why are there still fossils of, why are there still trees? There's still pine cones, and sharks, and shrimp. Right, because this has been said 10,428 times in the last week, but believe it or not, this is what we've all been saying, is that speciation does not presuppose that the parent species must become extinct after a new species comes about. I think you would get this by now, but apparently you're either trying to ignore it or you're just trying to ignore it because you know that it proves you false once again. Second one is that you go ahead and you use Wikipedia, which you admit right away that that's not a reliable source. So then why are you using it to try to refute us? I mean, you look at the pictures of fossils that really aren't fossils, and then you say, well, then there obviously aren't fossils. Wikipedia is hardly the only source for pictures of fossils. And I wish you would have admitted that. But of course, you don't. In fact, I have proof that the evolution of the horse, which there's a link right over there are pictures of fossils on that website leading up to and including the horse as we know it today. But unfortunately for the rest of us, you ignore such things. And also, fossil records aren't the only things that scientists use. Developmental biology and comparative DNA and protein studies are all things that scientists use to study evolution. There's also a number of other things that I don't have time to get into right now. And, you know, to say that evolution is a religion is highly ironic coming from someone who believes in some sugar sky daddy. Enough said about that. This brings us up to the horse-donkey thing that you brought up. Now, you know as well as I do that Aronra, when he asked, what he was asking was for a parent species to explain two species that exist today that are closely related. Not what would happen when you breed a horse and a donkey, which are closely related, but doesn't answer the question of what is the parent species. The parent species is Dinohippus. And if you would have done the research, you would have found that. But of course, you totally and completely go off on a tangent, so you don't have to deal with that and trying to fool a bunch of poor people who don't know any better to believe you, which, you know, we can come to expect considering you took over a website for some asshole who filed false DMCA claims. In short, why do you even speak? You have nothing to say except if it's a lie. And I know you're lying, and I know whenever you're lying, it's very simple. It goes like this. Your lips are moving. So much for Christian truthfulness, you moron.